Have you ever heard of a temple built not just with stone and mortar, but with a divine promise and one man's just incredible, unwavering faith? Well, today we're going to explore the amazing legend of Bhadrachalam.
It really all kicks off with this one big question. I mean, everybody knows Ayodhya is the birthplace of Lord Rama. So why would another place, hundreds and hundreds of miles away, get a title like the Ayodhya of the South? To figure that out, we've got to dive into a legend that weaves mythology and history together in a pretty spectacular way.
So let's set the scene. Our story takes place right here, in Bhadrachalam. It's this beautiful, sacred town right on the banks of the Godavari River. Now, this place is ancient. Its story goes back way, way before any of the buildings you see today, all the way back to a promise made in a totally different mythological era.
To really get what this temple is all about, we can't start with the building itself. Nope, we have to go back even further, to the origin story of the very mountain it sits on.
Okay, so the name itself, Bhadrachalam, actually comes from a sage named Bhadra. This man was so devoted, he spent years and years in deep meditation with just one single wish: for Lord Rama to come and rest on his head. Now, Rama was in the middle of his quest to rescue Sita, but he promised he'd fulfill Bhadra's wish on his way back. Well, ages went by, but Rama kept his word. He returned and, in a divine act, turned the sage himself into a mountain so he could rest there forever. And that mountain became known as Bhadrachalam, literally the mountain of Bhadra.
All right, let's fast forward a few millennia, all the way to the 17th century. This is where the story shifts from the purely divine to the very human, and where the temple we know today really begins to take shape, all thanks to one man and an extraordinary act of faith.
And here he is. Let me introduce you to the main character of this part of the story, Kanchala Gopana. This was a man living a life with a huge internal conflict, basically torn between his job and his soul.
So get this. By day, he's the Tahsildar for the Sultan of Golconda. That means he's the head tax collector, in charge of all the kingdom's money. But in his heart, in his personal life, he was this incredibly passionate devotee of Lord Rama, always writing and singing songs for him. You can just feel it, right? These two worlds, they were about to collide.
And this is the moment where everything changes. One day, Gopana finds the sacred idols of Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana hidden away in an anthill at the very spot from the ancient legend. And seeing them there, without a temple, without a proper home, it just lit a fire in his soul. He knew right then and there that he had to do something. So what did he do? He took 600,000 gold coins from the state treasury. Yeah, the tax money he was supposed to be collecting, and he used it to build an absolutely magnificent temple for the idols. He did all of this without even thinking of asking the Sultan for permission. It was a pure act of faith. Now, as you can imagine, this one massive act of devotion was going to lead to some serious trouble. But it would also, believe it or not, set the stage for a miracle that people would be talking about for centuries.
I mean, what do you think happened when the Sultan found out the money was missing? He was furious. The entire treasury had been spent on a temple he never even approved. The punishment for Gopana was going to be fast, and it was going to be harsh.
So for his crime of embezzlement, or his act of devotion, depending on how you look at it, Gopana was thrown into a dark cell deep inside the infamous Golconda fort. And the deal was, he wouldn't get out until every single one of those 600,000 coins was paid back. An impossible task, right?
But here's the incredible part. Even in this awful prison, facing years of suffering, Gopana's faith never broke, not for a second. Instead of falling into despair, he channeled his energy into composing some of the most beautiful devotional songs, or kirtanas, you'll ever hear. And it was right there, in that prison cell, that he earned his new name, Ramadasu, the servant of Rama.
12 years. 12 long years went by in that prison. Ramadasu just kept praying, kept singing, kept believing. But you have to wonder, right? After all that time, after all that suffering, was anyone listening? Would his faith finally be rewarded? And then, one night, something truly unbelievable happened. A miracle that didn't just free Ramadasu, but it also turned a skeptical sultan into a true believer.
So the story goes that two young men who said their names were Ramoji and Lakmoji appeared before the Sultan in a dream, and they paid him. They gave him 600,000 gold coins, the exact amount, and even got a receipt. The Sultan woke up, found the coins, and he knew instantly these weren't just some random servants. He realized he had just been visited by Lord Rama and his brother Lakshmana, in disguise, who had come to personally pay the debt and free their most loyal devotee.
The Sultan, completely stunned, freed Ramadasu immediately. He even gave the gold coins back and granted lands to the temple to make sure it would be taken care of forever. And the legacy of that moment? Well, it's just timeless.
I mean, just think about what was left behind. Bhakta Temple is still standing today, a testament to his faith. The beautiful songs he wrote in prison are still sung all over the world. They even say some of those actual gold coins are still preserved. And of course, the temple is now a huge pilgrimage site for millions of people. It's an incredible story of devotion. So let's bring it all back to that first question. Why do they call this place the Ayodhya of the South? Well, it's because it's so much more than just a gorgeous temple. It's a place where the divine literally stepped into the human world to answer a prayer.
At the end of the day, the Bhadrachalam Temple really stands on two powerful pillars. The first is that ancient, divine promise from a god to a sage, and the second, it's the absolute, unbreakable faith of a regular man who was willing to risk it all for what he believed in. And that kind of leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? The story of Bhadrachalam is this powerful reminder that faith can build things that are seemingly impossible. It really makes you wonder. In our own modern world, what monuments are we building? Not with money or steel, but with that same kind of pure, powerful belief.